Good day, Internet people! Lena here, and summer is finally upon us, and it's far too warm here in good old England. In fact, you could say it's quite radiant. Ah! Puns everywhere! And no panic. There's going to be no random jumping in Phil to jump scare you at the start of the video, or at any point in the video, because he's not in! So it's all good, you're only stuck with me. Yes, it is that time once again. The sneak peeks are upon us this weekend for G-BT07. So, trust me to spend a good few hours trawling through the entire set looking for what are going to be the most interesting commons and rares to get your hands on in order to have the most enjoyable of the sneak peek experiences. But before we get into that, a quick suggestion for those of you going to the sneak peeks this weekend. I'm sure we've all been in that situation where we've been to a sneak peek for one of the G sets and we've been all excited, we've opened our 6-packs and we've pulled precisely not very much at all. Which means that our decks are basically pretty vanilla. However, the sneak peek promo this time around is a Gold Paladin Stride. So it might be worth talking to your tournament organisers and seeing if you can have that promo be used as part of your deck. That way everyone gets a chance to use a Stride and have GB1 skills be active for the entirety of the tournament, and it makes it fair for everyone basically that way. So it's a worthy thing to suggest, especially if you want everyone to have a level playing field. So like previous sneak peek videos that we've done, I'm going to pretty much ignore the generation rares and triple Rs and double Rs, because if you pull one you're probably going to keep it. A good thing to point out though is that, of course, with this being the first expansion set with G Guardians in, an interesting thing to note about the double R lineup in general is that if you pull one, there is a 50% chance you're going to pull a G Guardian, because there's one for each clan in the set, and there are 6 clans, and there are 12 double Rs in the set. So if you pull a double R, chances are you look very high that you're going to have a G Guardian as well. So that will also help with the whole GB1 problem. The other 25% each of the double Rs are made up of critical triggers for specific Vanguards, and the other ones are perfect guards. So it's worth noting. Another thing to point out though is that in the rare slots there are 3, count them, yes 3, quintet walls, because quintet walls apparently are a thing that we're going to get again. Not that we ever really wanted them much in the first place, but they're there and you probably won't want to use any of them. Especially with the further knowledge that there are no legions in the set, no legion grade 3 at all, so decking out is going to be a thing, probably. It's 30 card decks, we're probably going to deck out at some point, it's just how it works. One other thing to mention though, for the people who get to do draft and kind of, do the whole not sealed thing as we will have to do at Tabletop Tyrant, our locals, is you might want to kind of avoid the decks that allow you to cycle through your deck a lot quicker. We're talking Dark Irregulars, Angel Feather particularly with the rescue thing, and Gold Paladins with their Superior Calling, because those things are going to take cards out of the deck and make things a lot faster for you when it comes to going through the cards in your deck. So it might be worth, just for the whole purpose of sneak peeks, to avoid using the abilities for those. We're going to do it slightly differently this time. I've gone through the set and I've decided to split it up into each grade, and then we'll go through the commons and rares of each grade and pick out which ones are the most interesting. So with all that said, let's begin with the grade 0s, and I'm going to start with the triggers. In this set this time around we have got 6 critical triggers, although 3 of them are double Rs as I mentioned just now. There are 5 stands, 1 draw and 1 heal, which means that things are going to have to be pretty aggressive again, well, to be fair, like most drafts, to be fair. If you can play it aggressively, the chances are you're probably going to be alright. There are no grade 0s at the rare level, so we only get to worry about commons here. As far as the triggers go, the Gold Paladin stand is a very easy recycle, and the Dimension Police stand trigger is also good when you have a Stride going on the Vanguard circle, but it does go into the soul instead of recycling back to the deck, so that is something to consider. As for starters, I would ignore the Enigmatic Assassin and the Iron Blue Lion, because they're not going to do anything for you. However, all the other starters do require you to take a card out of the deck in some way or another, be it drawing or otherwise, so those are the better ones, but still use them sparingly. Now for the grade 1s, and we'll begin with the rares. We're going to start with a Kagero one. Dragon Knight Roya is a very good card for a bit of extra shield power if you can get it into the bind zone, be it through its own ability or through combining it with perhaps some of the Gear Chronicle shenanigans that you could get elsewhere in the set. Moving on to commons, and we have Steam Fighter Nanea, which again, with Gear Chronicle now embracing the bind zone for their time leap shenanigans, could also be a good way to get that kind of play going, as well as Steam Fighter Atabu. Magical Inspector Tulp can throw a little bit of power around on GB1 when it's placed, while Foxy Charmy can actually decrease the power of your opponent's rear guards at any time because it doesn't have GB restriction. Moving on to grade 2s, and all of the rares in this section, they're pretty much all reliant on a very specific Vanguard, so you're probably not going to get much use out of them. There is a bit more luck to be had with the commons, with Knight of Thin Sun Marcia having resist, which is always nice, and you can unflip 1 damage with her if you need to. Then there's Nadim, which is a very easy 11k hitter if you can activate Blaze. And speaking of Blaze, Kinara is back and is still retiring grade 1s if you can activate Blaze as well. Then there's Intimidate Monster Golemnas, which is an excellent defensive card which gives an opponent's unit minus 5k. When it comes to the grade 3s, I found 3 that are of interest. None of them at the rare level, they're all commons, so it should be a little bit easier to get hold of. First there's Bradot, which provides some fun power game thanks to its Soul Blast 1 ability, so be sure not to over abuse the soul all in one go, unless you want to do that kind of last game push. And also the 2 Kagero common grade 3 units have simple blaze abilities if you find yourselves with them. There are also 2 singular stride units in the set, which is wonderful, which is a lot more than we would normally get, so if you pull one, best keep hold of it, just in case you want to stride more than once if you get use of your promo. That might be a brave decision. Anyways, of the 2, Enigman Crossray is a much better card than the Dark Irregular Stride, seeing as the Dark Irregular Stride requires so much soul, so maybe just a vanilla if you haven't to pull that one. But Crossray, you can use its ability and do a massive power boost. I say massive, it's 10k, but it's still big with the stride upon it, so you know, if you're going to push for game and you have that one around, you may as well use that one. That would be my pick if you can get hold of it. So those are my picks for the best cards to look out for when it comes to sneak peeks this weekend. Do feel free to post on our Facebook page at facebook.com/drawthetrigger and let us know of all the shiny things you pull. Of course, I hadn't mentioned anything of the super special SP packs, but hey, again, if you pull one of those, you're probably keeping everything involved there because they're also shiny. I know Mr. Phil is very much hoping to pull the Angel Feather one because who wouldn't want SP Gavrails with gold bits all over them? And yeah, I know. I look forward to a set with something that I'm interested in actually has something like that. And of course, the following weekend it is Team League for all of our viewers and of course us here in the UK. So you'll be finding Team Draw the Trigger hiding about in Cardiff. We will be casually, just handing out the brand new 2016 Draw the Trigger Fighters Counters. They are very pretty. So do come up to us and get one off of us if we don't just hand one out to you already. We're just going to throw them about because who doesn't want free Fighters Counters, especially when they look as cool as these do. So that is all for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, do let us know about how your sneak peeks go this weekend. We would love to hear from you all. Leave your comments down below with how you've done and what you've pulled. And we shall see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.